allowing me to present the 2016 State of the City Address. Hopefully in the next few minutes we can sum up the successes of 2015 and look at some potential opportunities for achievement in 2016. I believe that by working together we can continue to make Napoleon a good place to live, raise a family, and retire with deep running roots. Many of the successes Napoleon had in 2015 cannot be measured in any sort of real fashion. Others are easy to see. And as I have often said, that you can complain about the weather, just please don't complain about the people. The people we represent once again made our town a great place to be. Napoleon, along with the rest of Henry County, was once again a very charitable place to live. The recently completed United Way campaign saw a goal that was surpassed, and a per capita giving that ranks among the best in all of Ohio. The Susan G. Komen Walk for the Cure fell short of its goal, but still ranked as one of the biggest walks in this half of the country. So we congratulate that group and look forward to the day when the cure is found and this walk becomes a reminder of a struggle won, not of a struggle still being fought. We also want to thank the Girl Scouts for the new dog park they have installed this year. This is a facility that hopefully residents can use for many, many years to come. We also took part in something that is still fairly unique, and that being this past fall's general election. That election gave Napoleon and Henry County a new senior center, as well as allowed the people to speak out against monopolies and against marijuana. Most interesting is how calmly, simply, and peacefully elected officials assume their duties and responsibilities. This is not done all around this great big world of ours, nor is it always done without violence. But here in America, peaceful transition is what we do. Transfer responsibility, transfer power, without people being harmed in the process. It is a hallmark to our way of life. And that's often ignored, but please, as you think about this great land we call home, realize how special this peaceful change of responsibility truly is. Our city employees were busy this year, keeping the lights on, snow removed, water flowing, coal patch flying, trash removed, payments being processed, taxes accounted, projects being engineered, administration, sewage disappearing, and that's just a smattering of the typical tasks our employees tackle on a daily basis. These are often overlooked until they're not being done. So I want to take this opportunity to say thank you to everybody that does those. You make us look good. Well, as good as we can look, but thank you for making us look good. I would be remiss if I did not stop and thank the fire chief and chief of police for their leadership and for the people they lead. When common sense says run from danger, our firefighters and police officers run towards the danger. So I say two things to them. One, as always, stay safe. And two, thank you. New equipment was needed to play golf in June at the Napoleon Municipal Golf Course. I think a boat would have been needed to play most of the course. Most golfers don't keep a small watercraft in their bags, so a different solution was required. In response to the lower amount of times the course was available, I think it was wise to cut rates for existing 2015 members. It seems like a good way to attract and retain players. It also speaks to the level of customer service that sets our Parks and Rec department on a different level from our peers in the area. Our Parks and Rec department oversees many different and varying programs, and they do them also very well. Operations was busy putting up a new salt shed. Since before I was on council, I've always heard that a new salt shed was needed, and I'm proud to say that addition of a new salt shed should help Napoleon in a myriad of ways for years to come. From being able to retain more salt, providing a better place for loading and unloading of trucks, I have high hopes for the future of that addition. I think the old salt shed, if it's not down already, will be down as soon as the next strong breeze comes. Strong breeze, or more likely something sneezing close to it. Either way, the new salt facility will serve us for a long time. 2015 saw the accomplishment of many items that improved the quality of life for Napoleon. Appian Avenue was remade. Daggett Street was greatly improved. And these are just two examples of the many different departments working together for all of Napoleon. The completion of the road grading project in 2015 has the potential to be wise dollars spent. Yes, we all know our roads are in need of different levels of repair, but how we set that priority list on a fair basis. That road grading project will help us set those priorities. These road grading project dollars will not be wasted as long as council uses that tool as a guide for road repair priorities. Dodge Street and Park Lane are already on tap for 2016, but after those projects, council will need to make decisions about what the future of Napoleon will look like, what Napoleon will look like, and how to pay for the improvements. There'll be some interesting questions. Before I move into how to pay for changes, how to pay for growth, I want to revisit that first question. I don't want to glaze over this because it's an interesting question. What does council want Napoleon to look like? At the end of 2016, 2020, or even 2030? What do you want Napoleon to look like? This past week, we continued a process began in 2015 to look at trying to answer that question. I'm excited to see how those conversations continue. It'll not be a fast process, but it's the first step towards a long-range plan. And this plan, like any other, will need maintenance and care. Mining for data is just a step. Benchmarks are good, but using that information towards a longer-range goal will be the best use of a long-range plan. We also realize that this plan, like any others, outside influences get a vote. In athletics, the best game plan realizes that the opponent has a vote. Just because you want or expect your opponent to play in a certain way does not mean that they will. They have voted as well. So a successful plan will be flexible enough to allow for changes, modifications, to adapt to current issues, while at the same time continuing forward to a long-term goal. The trick is going to be obtain and retain buy-in from a large majority of players. The other part of this is being able to show progress. Tangible proof that process is working. I have suggested before and will continue to push for new signs and Napoleon's entryway. When I look around our town, the best sign I see is in front of our ecological management and reclamation facility, or whatever else calls it, the yard waste site. It's a nice sign, I'm glad we have it, but it is in front of not a city building, not the operations building, police station, fire station, in front of our yard waste site. Hopefully we can redevelop other signs on the edges of Napoleon to be more welcoming. Because sometimes changing the welcome mat on your front porch can make your home more inviting. And I feel that a better signage, we can make our home more inviting as well. Economic growth continues to be an ongoing issue. How do we attract new business while at the same time retaining current businesses and potentially finding new ways for them to grow? What economic packages are we willing to offer? What programs are we willing to fund to help existing businesses thrive in Napoleon? I'm hearing that businesses want to grow, have capital, but they need quality employees. So we need to encourage people that meaningful employment is possible right here in Napoleon. With agriculture facing a tougher economic environment than just a few years ago, and realizing that agriculture is what drives the economic engine of Napoleon, what are we prepared to do to diversify and strengthen our local economy? We're not moving away from economic roots, but need to be prepared to add options to our economic footprint. These are issues that take negotiation, input, and a government body willing to help city employers. The point of a speculum is a step towards that end. The bigger step will be fully occupied and, just as important, fully employed. One of the largest issues that we're going to face is the ongoing water conversations we're having with communities in our area. The most recent article I saw had the consortium members looking at going their own way and digging a well. Look, the year 2020 is closer each day. As that day approaches, what are we willing to do for the betterment of Napoleon? Working with the satellites is essential for growth of Napoleon as well as the surrounding areas. Failure cannot be an option. An agreement that is in the best interest of Napoleon likely includes continuing relationship with the other area municipalities. Considering our needs, while acknowledging the needs of the surrounding villages as well as the district is of paramount importance. We're also going to deal with sidewalks, potential project assessments, how to best handle the city pool, and other issues that are bound to arise over the course of the next 12 months. All of them important issues, all have a lasting effect on our residents, our citizens, our taxpayers, our bosses. We all know the issues we're facing. We're all aware that critical time in many of these projects. Napoleon's population, like much of the area, continues to grow. Each day on the radio we hear obituaries. And WNEH also puts together a stork report, children being born in local hospitals. Too often the number of people named obituaries outnumber the number of new births. This trend, we've got to reverse this. And only by continuing to offer good quality of life can we have any hope of reversing that trend. So how do we start to prepare this? How do we put Napoleon on a better road towards growth? There's really only one solution in my book. The solution is quite simple. Teamwork. We've got to work together. Of course, the first part of figuring out is who's on our team. So we want to realize that, hey, we're it. We're it. Elected, duly appointed, appointed in the 30s, we're pretty much it. Any help from outside cannot be planned on. Any aid from the state and local government cannot be counted on as a sure thing. Are we seeking that help? Are we asking for state and federal leaders for help? Absolutely. Are we and will we continue to hope for those potential funding sources? Yes. But I was taught as a young lieutenant during my time in the Army, hope is not a good course of action. So we must realize the best way to accomplish a goal, any goal, is to realize the people who are here offer the best chance of success. Secondly, and probably just as important than realizing that we must learn ourselves, is that teamwork will take us further. We, the duly elected, the rightfully appointed, and the appointing authorities, we must work together. Together we can overcome obstacles, these temporary delays, and together we can make Napoleon an even better place than it is now. Does that mean we always agree? No. None of us are of the same mind all the time. And as President Eisenhower once said, no man can be right all the time. So the struggle is to do one's best, to keep the brain and conscience clear, never to be swayed by unworthy motives and inconsequential reasons, but to strive to unearth the basic factors involved, and then do one's duty. We're all here because we want to be. We want to serve. We want the chance. We want the opportunity for Napoleon's advancement now before us. Does teamwork require everybody agree all the time? Of course not. Healthy discussion, passionate debate are hallmarks of our form of government. But we must fight the temptation to turn disagreement into disrespect. We cannot turn arguments to our own personal scorecards. Leave it out of it. Disagreeing position is fine. Disrespecting the individual, something else. What we do, I think, can be described as selfless service. We are the best chance Napoleon has for a strong future. Because we all know what happened if we fail. Nothing. Nothing of meaningful importance will happen if we allow ourselves to dissolve into petty disputes instead of continuing to do what is best for Napoleon. After all, that's why we're here. That's why we give our time, why we raise our hands and swear our oaths to keep Napoleon great. Please continue to work together. Please continue to work for the better of Napoleon. Please keep Napoleon a good place to live, raise a family, and retire with deep roots. Thank you for